Ann is going. Thanks, Ann, or whoever hit that button. Well done. Sometimes we forget to hit record. It's a tech-free camp situation. So thank you, whoever did that. So anyway, so Ann is going to be our chatterator for the night. So she's going to moderate our chat, and we'll answer some questions in the chat during the video, but also throw anything up there and we will kind of toss them around. She'll pick people to answer those. But first off, I'd like to introduce our whole team that's on the call tonight. Again, I'm Ariella. I'm the director at High Trails, which is the girls' camp. And my favorite activity is rock scrambling. I love getting up on the rocks and pretending I'm a mountain goat. So I use all of my, make sure I'm doing a good job. Emily's a great spotter. Make sure I don't fall down. So rock scrambling is my favorite camp activity. And so I'm going to turn it over to Mark, who's right over here.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to see your faces. What a beautiful night that we get together here digitally, and certainly excited to welcome people to camp in person this summer. My name is Mark Ruppert. I'm the director of the boys camp. Been at Sanborn for just over 6 years now, and love the opportunity to be able to welcome people to this community and create a beautiful space this summer. So I love to be outside always, of course, and Vespers at camp to me is a special moment to be able to watch the sunset, to be able to be in the larger community together in the out of doors, and that's one of my favorite experiences. I also love and will plug my new favorite hobby, which is mountain biking, but happy to be outside sharing experiences with people, and looking forward to welcoming all of you to camp this summer. So I'm going to pass it over to Ann and Em, who are next to me in the screen here.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Emily. I'm one of our assistant directors at High Trails. And I have to say, I've been thinking about it, especially tonight, because the stars are so good tonight. The stars here at camp are amazing. So I love to just be out sleeping under the stars and spending time with people and just stargazing.
I'm Ann. I am the Expeditions and Operations Director for both camps, and I have a very special place in my heart for High Trails, so I spend a lot of time there. And the summer, this will be my 8th summer at camp, I just realized. And Mark took my favorite camp activity, and I can't think of a backup on the fly. But I do love Vespers, playing the guitar at Vespers, so now I'll steal Cato's too. And it's just an awesome time to get together and be a community and reflect on all the awesome things we get to do at camp. So I am going to pass it to PJ, who is next to us.
Hey everyone, my name is PJ. I am the assistant director over at Big Spring. My favorite thing to do at camp is participate in Counselor Hunt, which is a big scavenger hunt, basically a hide and go seek game for counselors and campers to participate in. So I am now going to kick it over to Cato, who is near me on my screen.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name's Cato. I am the trip program director at Big Spring. And I have to say, one of my favorite things about camp is all the trips that we go on, especially some of the longer ones, and, you know, waking up with your friends in the backcountry and getting up and maybe trying to summit a 14er for sunrise. And especially when you're summiting those 14ers, sometimes we put together some type of theme or a summit suit, so you get to wear a goofy costume to the top of the mountain. And as you're coming down, there's a lot of people coming up who give you some funny looks, and that's just the best. So I'm going to pass it now over to Jesse.
Jesse, you're muted.
I thought I hit the button, but I didn't. Hello, everybody. I'm Jessie, and I work a lot with both camps. And this will be summer number 16 for me. I can still remember my first summer, though. So if you're a little nervous, it's okay. All of us that have been here a while remember being nervous, but we also know that it's our second home at this point. So we keep coming back. So maybe you'll be saying it's your 16th summer too someday. My favorite things to do are canoe trips, especially when we can get the canoes out and the stars are just coming out and the sunset's going down. That's a super fun trip. So I'm going to send it over to, I think Jill is next.
Hey everyone, my name is Jill and I'm the in-camp program director for Big Spring. And some of my favorite things about camp are the big camp activities. So as PJ mentioned, the counselor hunt, we have ice cream socials, dances, scavenger hunts. I really love when all of camp can come together and play a really awesome game. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Krista.
Hello. I'm Krista. I am the in-camp program director at High Trails. And Jill, can you hear me? Is it working? Okay, great. So, yep, I am the in-camp program director at High Trails, and this is a returning summer for me, who was once the arts and crafts fairy down at the arts and crafts barn at High Trails. And so my favorite activity at camp is anytime that there is a costume involved. I love dressing up and like creating magic, and like even if it's like putting on a pirate costume to go around and collect the trash at the end of summer. That's one of my favorite things to do at camp. And I can't see the grid view, so Jill, will you choose whoever is next unless I'm the last one?
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Izzy.
Hi, everyone. I am Elizabeth or Izzy. Either I will answer to either, and I am executive director for COEC. One of my favorite things is getting to go to the river, being on the river all days with the juniors and other campers. There's no cell phone service there, so it gives me a chance to get out of the office and just enjoy being with the campers and floating down the river and soaking it all in. It's one of my favorite days throughout the summer.
Magnificent. So that's quite a few folks from our team. We have other team members, year-round staff, Sarah Slusher, Taylor Inderbo, that work a lot with our horse program. And so they've been taking care of horses and baby goats and all sorts of critters down at the barn. So you'll look forward to getting to meet them as well as see all of those fantastic animals and horses when you come to camp this summer. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Mark.
All right, we're going to be showing a video that'll give another perspective of camp. So I'm going to share my screen at this point and I hope you all enjoy.
In 1948, a couple's vision took root on 480 acres in the shadow of Pikes Peak in central Colorado. Sanborn is located about an hour west of Colorado Springs and has since grown to 6,000 privately owned acres, about 10 square miles, with permits to access over 30,000 acres of adjoining national forest and national monument land. We are located at about 8,600 feet, with rolling meadows, rocky bluffs, spectacular wildflowers, deer and elk, and other wildlife. You never know what you might find. We have no poisonous snakes, poison ivy, or anything that would keep you from wanting to get out and explore the world around you. Recent research points to how contact with nature calms and focuses children while exciting their senses. It also provides physical and emotional exercise, reduces stress, and promotes resilience. As one scientist puts it, we can now assume that just as children need good nutrition and adequate sleep, they may very well need contact with nature. We feel there's no better place to connect with the natural world than at Sanborn. Along with our unmatched space in which to hike, camp, horseback ride, and play, we have developed many learning centers throughout the camp to enhance the camper's experience. Campers may go to these sites for half-day, all-day, or two-day programs. You might hike out to Teepee Village, learn about the Ute culture through games and activities. Visit the Quick Homestead, an original 1890s homestead, and get a taste of settler life firsthand. Explore the Witcher Ranch, a working cattle ranch since the 1860s and still in operation today. Make your way to the Inner Barn, our hands-on nature and science center showcasing our many interconnections with the world around us. Head to our observatory, which houses one of Colorado's largest telescopes, and along with smaller telescopes and dark skies, it's a great place for night sky viewing. We also adjoin the Fluorescent Fossil Beds National Monument, with incredible opportunities to see 35-million-year-old petrified redwood stumps, along with the amazing insect and plant and fish fossils. After spending the day at the fossil beds, we then go to a private dig site where campers have the chance to split shale and find their very own fossils. Other key facilities at camp include the lodges. Our lodges are the center of each camp's community. We gather in the lodges every day for home-cooked meals served family style. The lodges are also the perfect space for rainy day activities, daily announcements, and lots of singing, cheering, and chanting. Our swimming pools are great for relaxing, splashing, and cooling off on a warm day. The pools are staffed by certified lifeguards, and campers complete a basic swim check within the first few days of camp. Each camp's riding program has its own barn and arena. The barns house tack and equipment for horseback riding activities and trips, while the arenas are perfect for lessons when you're not out on the trail. The craft shops provide space for creativity and artistic expression: painting, pottery, bead making, woodworking, paper making, and more. Our health centers are staffed by registered nurses who are supported by the camp's medical team, including directors, a physician's assistant, and EMTs. Nurses will check campers in, will distribute regular medications throughout the summer, and take care of bumps and bruises that might happen along the way. And we have a regional hospital in Woodland Park about a half hour from camp. Athletically, we're very non-competitive. We have a lot of pickup games. Who's here? Who wants to play? Great, let's go. We play frisbee, soccer, volleyball, basketball, field games, and some great non-traditional camp-only games such as 9 Square in the Air, Quidditch, or Gaga. At Big Spring, the month-long campers are assigned to live on one of 4 ridges by grade. They live in wooden frame platform tents or yurts and use nearby wash houses. The living units have comfortable beds and electricity. We call it comfortable rustic. They can roll up the flaps to a fresh breeze and enjoy the great community up and down the ridge. The 2-week junior campers live in cabins with 2 bunk rooms, along with indoor bathrooms and a terrific front porch for hanging out and playing games. At High Trails, the girls live on one of 2 ridges in cabins with bunk rooms on either side. There are lockers for all of their belongings and gear. The cabin also has a shared central bathroom and cozy living room with a fireplace. It's a great community space where the girls love hanging out and enjoying each other's company. Our staff to camper ratio is no more than 1 to 5 in the living units and closer to 1 to 4 in in-camp activities. The space of camp only gets larger thanks to public lands and the permits we have through the National Forest Service that give us access to more 14ers, 14,000-foot peaks, than any other camp in the country, as well as other mountain summits, miles of backcountry trails, rivers for rafting and tubing and fishing, a nearby canoeing reservoir, wide open spaces to discover, explore, and take in with awe.
I love camp because I can be free in nature of Colorado.
Spending a month outside is very easy and very difficult at the same time.
I love being a camper here at Sanborn because it's sort of like my home away from home.
Like every time I come to camp, I end up sharing more, I end up giving more, I end up caring more and asking more questions and being in general more of the person who I want to be all year round.
Like in the next week, we're going to be climbing 3 mountains. So just having a much longer span of time just offers up a lot more to do.
But when you're in such a small community and you get to know everyone, it's really nice to be unplugged and get to talk to them face to face.
Sanborn gives one of the best opportunities I can think of for children who need wide open spaces and natural time to really experiencing that unfettered.
I think the sense of adventure is apparent from the first minute you pull up, and all of the enthusiasm and all of the activities that the children are introduced to. And then when you pick your child up, you hear nothing but stories about all of their adventures for the rest of the year until they get to come back.
4, 3, 2, 1. It's not gonna work, guys. 10, 21, 7, 1, 6,
8.
1.
In addition to our incredible spaces and facilities, camp is truly about the people, the staff, the campers, and the community that is created when they come together. From the beginning, our mission has always been about creating a community of young people sharing fun and adventure in the outdoors. This still holds true, and we find our mission is even more important for the youth of today than it was in 1948. The foundation of our community is our staff. We maintain a year-round staff of about 20 educators, youth development professionals, and activities specialists who develop wonderful programs and trips. The year-round team provides guidance, leadership, and experience for our summer staff. We all work very hard to attract and retain the best men and women from around the country and beyond to be with us this summer. Each year, we hire over 100 staff members who are college age, recent college graduates, or program area experts to join us. Many of our staff return each summer, and a good number of the staff are former campers. We do extensive background checks on all staff members, including FBI fingerprints, driving records, reference checks, and personal interviews. We look for all types of skills, backgrounds, and experiences as we craft a strong and diverse staff. A strong sense of fashion, for example, is very important. With the many technical and interpersonal skills each staff member brings to camp, we add to their experience with our 11-day staff training. We develop the staff community, teach our protocols, establish our expectations, provide tools and strategies for working with children, and ground everything in our mission. Underlying all of the skills and training, though, first and foremost, there must be the passion to work with children, to be role models, teachers, friends, mentors, to be silly and lead fun activities, to help each and every child grow.
Sometimes we talk about it as the ABCs of camp: be adventurous, be brave, and challenge yourself. Because it's kind of scary, and it's you have that sense of, I've never climbed a 14,000 foot mountain. I've never gone on a multi-day horseback trip. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I have the skills. And then you're with all these people around you who they're sort of feeling the same way, but yet they also, some of them think they can. And so when they think they can, then you start thinking you can. And so that kind of, that ball starts rolling, and all of a sudden you see kids and campers feeling like they're helping each other.
I think the importance of Sanborn in the world today is this opportunity to be, and that's what camp has always offered, is to just be. And that experience is more and more important as we continue to move through a world that feels heavy and complicated at times.
One of the most prominent features of our programs is the free choice that kids have in building their experience at camp. and customizing their experience. We offer a ton of different adventures that kids can get out on. You can ride horses, you can climb mountains, you can test the waters and canoe, you can go tubing and rafting for our oldest campers. You have a chance to get out on 3 to 5 day horse packing trips. There's a lot of teachable moments that happen at camp when kids get out into the backcountry and start to hike along the trail, and we're tired or hot or wet and cold, whatever it may be, you start to feel alive.
As you can imagine, when the campers arrive, it is very exciting as we are all there together for the first time and ready to kick off an amazing camp session. About a third of our campers come from Colorado, while the rest arrive from all over the US and a dozen or more foreign countries. We have big city and small town campers from urban, suburban, and rural communities. It's a fantastic, diverse mix of people. We have a high return rate for campers, but it's very easy to be a first-year camper. We focus a lot of attention early in the session on the living units to help everyone transition smoothly into camp life. After a very short time, it is hard for anyone to distinguish a new camper from a returning camper, because everyone is showing people around, settling into camp, participating in the program, and getting to know each other.
At Sanborn, we kind of get to go up mountains and whatnot, and we get to see different types of wildlife and flora. It's very relaxing, at the same time fun.
I love how you can ride horses at the barn, how you get to tack it up. This is my second time doing a month, and it's actually kind of fun instead of doing 2 weeks because you get more of an experience.
And an important part of those trips is that they get to be challenged. And when kids push themselves and they do those things that they didn't think they were capable of, they learn that they're resilient.
We often, as humans, never truly fully experience what our limits are, and being out for 5 days on a horse or climbing a mountain allows us to start to taste a little bit of what it is and how far we can push ourselves to do hard things. And like so many of the things at camp, you can then take that back and translate it to life, to push through classes, to push through jobs later, to work through hard moments because we know that we can do hard things.
Camp is a lot different than when I'm at home. At camp, you get to experience everything that involves Mother Nature, and at home, just glued to my cell phone.
At my first day at camp, I was really nervous, but the counselors in this whole entire community made it really awesome, and they made me laugh, and I realized that I was gonna have an awesome summer.
At Sanborn, we do have the opportunity to have our campers for 2 weeks or 4 weeks, and that is a significant amount of time where those kids get to come as their individual selves, come where they are, and then develop who that is, and grow and learn, and then contribute that to the community. And the time that we have here allows us to do that.
And then they can take those skills away. They take those back to school. And I think that's the biggest part of what kids get from camp, is that sense of, I'm not afraid to try something new.
The diversity in trips here, it's a progression, and kids get to start small, build a comfort zone, and develop from there into the bigger adventures that kids can get into. People always need to be part of something bigger.
At Sanborn, I think that what camp has to offer the campers is this gift. It's a gift of resilience, it's a gift of simplicity, it's a gift of being in community and living in community with others. And that's what is really unique and special about camp, about the Sanborn experience, and about being here for a summer.
Coming to camp changed me because it gives me more courage to climb 14ers and do stuff that I would not be able to do at home, and just try new things.
Well, when I come back from camp, I believe I can do things that before camp I knew that I couldn't do. I say yes, I can do it, and I know I can do it, and I will do it. And I just am more I'm a lot different and more confident in myself. The food here is really good. I get seconds and thirds all the time because it's so good.
The meatballs are just out of this world. They're so good.
Trips here are really unique in that you get to just cut out your own
shape for the summer. Make it what you want it to be. You get to choose for yourself, and that's something that really makes camp unique and just a really enjoyable experience because it is truly your summer.
Responsibility is definitely a big thing here, but the counselors make it really easy.
One of my favorite memories at camps was the first time I got on a horse. It's scary, but it was pretty exciting.
I feel Sanborn has made me a better person because I go back home and when things happen, I remember my experiences at camp and use those experiences to help me at home and become a better person.
I never get homesick at camp. I always get camp sick at home.
Coming to Sanborn for 2 weeks or for a month provides an incredible opportunity to put together the space of camp with the people of camp. It's this aspect of camp that allows for our broad, exciting, and fun program of trips, daily activities, and special events. Time is a key component for our substantial youth development goals. These include each camper developing multiple supportive relationships, having a sense of belonging, making independent choices and developing self-efficacy, participating in challenging and engaging activities, feeling emotionally and physically safe in nature and in the camp community. Camp provides a complementary piece to school's focus on the facts, figures, and details. It's a place to put it all together, to try new things, to make connections, to immerse yourself in a learning lab of hard skills, soft skills, creativity, fun, and personal expression. Our program is comprised of half-day to 5-day activities and trips, along with evening programs and special events. Each camp operates individually with special co-ed events on the weekends and a few other times during the session. In the Sanborn Junior program, the campers sample a wide range of program activities and trips. There are 2 overnights on the ranch, 4 horse trips, day trips to the South Platte River and to the Bat Caves for rock scrambling before going to dig fossils. There are special events, crafts, archery, swimming, and much more. For the most part, the junior campers stay together with their cabin mates and staff and experience camp as a cabin group during their session. It's a nice introduction to the month-long program at Big Spring and High Trails, and many juniors eventually transition into the month-long program. In the month-long program, the added time expands the program opportunities and introduces more choice into the camp experience. There are more all-day and overnight trips, and more adventures beyond camp property. The month-long campers will individually create their very own summer. Early in the session, each camper will sign up for an assortment of all-day, overnight, and longer trips. They will also select their long trip, a 3 to 5 day backpacking, mountain, or horse adventure. Once all of the signups are collected and processed, each camper will receive their own custom calendar of when their trips are scheduled. Our trips are unique and often create the most memorable experiences of the summer. They allow campers to gain and practice outdoor skills at an age-appropriate level. When not out on a trip, the campers will choose from an assortment of in-camp activities, such as crafts, the pool, assorted sports, archery, theme rides, hikes to the inner barn for activities such as mad scientist and flubber making, and other destination hikes like the 4-story treehouse, where you might participate in an egg drop. The in-camp program is custom built each week based on who is in camp each day and what people want to do. The time of Sanborn allows for even more than just fun activities and trips. Within the breadth of the camp program, campers have the opportunity to learn and explore in great depth. There is time to learn how to saddle and bridle your horse, how to care for it and be around it safely, and to develop your riding skills on the trail and in the arena as you spend time with the wranglers on trips and activities. You might even find yourself rounding up the most herded cattle in Colorado. You can tie your own fly, take it out fishing to stocked ponds or to the South Platte River and land a trout. Learn how to use a camera, compose a shot, develop the film, and then make a print in our darkroom. Become stronger in the outdoors as you learn how to pack your backpack, use a map and compass, set up your tent and campsite, cook in the outdoors, and then head out to summit a 14er or participate in a trail service project. Campers come to camp with a wide range of camping and outdoor experience, and our program is designed for those trying things for the very first time, as well as those with prior experience. The unit and cabin-side overnights and basic prep at the barns are just 2 examples of how we start off together at a common point to teach and lay the foundation for future trips and activities.
Because of the time we have together, our camp community of fun, friendships, teamwork, responsibility, resiliency, and shared experiences is dynamic and inclusive. There's time around the living units, making friends, collaborating, problem solving, getting to know each other, and just hanging out. There's time for special events, whether it's playing games, celebrating birthdays, or dressing up for one of our many themed dinners. There are co-ed weekend all-camp events, such as the Carnival and Gymkhana, a horseback riding showcase, plus many more other one-of-a-kind activities at camp. There's time on trips to experience camaraderie, teamwork, and the accomplishment of shared success through days spent together, creating stories and incredible bonds. There's time for campfires, perfect for s'mores. Each Sunday, there is time for Vespers. Each camp hikes to a special high point where we watch the sunset, sing songs, share quotes, enjoy the quiet, reflect on the past week, and look forward to the adventures ahead. And as we connect with each other throughout our shared experiences, we strengthen our connections to the natural world. As we camp out in the mountains under the stars, ride a horse through an aspen grove, watch the sunrise from a mountain peak, take time for ourselves. Look and really see the wildflowers. Meet some wildlife. Use the telescope to check out Jupiter or the moon. Sit at a high point. We have the time to take it all in. The space, people, and time of Sanborn are incredible aspects of a summer with us. Sanborn summers are special, unique, and life-changing.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Mark, for sharing the video. And we're seeing a number of questions coming into the chat, and I know Anne is going to toss those around to the appropriate answerers. But I think keep those questions coming in the chat, and we look forward to sharing some more insight about camp. Take it away, Anne.
Yeah, some awesome questions coming in. I think to start off with, Gus and Leo had a question about how do you determine what activities do you do? You mentioned several different activities that you could do during the day. And the video touched on that a little bit, but it's always good because it's definitely a process. So Mark, would you like to answer that one?
Definitely. We have 2 different programs, a month-long program and our 2-week long junior program. And so in regards to Choice at Camp, in the month-long program, our kids get to build out their schedules and have an opportunity to pick and choose the programs they're really excited about in a progressive way. There is the opportunity to get out on a long trip, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Somebody asked a specific question about a 3 to 5 day trip, and our program directors may be able to speak more to that. But our junior program is built out in 2 weeks and offers opportunities for kids to have more consistency with their counselors and the trip selection and experience a variety of the options that they will then be able to choose once they graduate into the month-long program. And it's more based around our in-camp experiences, and they venture out, but not too far away, where they really have that comfort zone and familiar. And all our kids start off that first week of camp building the camaraderie and the routine and the repetition to feel like they're at home away from home before they venture out on overnight trips or head out on the bigger adventures that we head to.
Sweet. Thanks, Mark. The questions are rolling in. Ari, thank you for answering that one. quickly in the chat. There's a question about trunks or suitcases, and Ari threw in there that the boys definitely still use those trunks, and at High Trails, the girls unpack into lockers. There was a question about what percentage of campers might be new for the older campers, which I'm guessing means in the older age groups, like how many of those campers are generally new? Ari, do you want to answer that one?
Sure, I can speak to kind of the High Trail side, and maybe Mark can touch base on the guy side. The nice thing about Sanborn is we do have new campers in every single age group. It depends on the session and like what that percentage is, but every single summer we have we typically have 4 to a whole cabin side of brand new campers, and so there's always the opportunity to kind of meet people where they are. The other thing about Sanborn that's really unique is it's a super easy place to be a first-time camper, no matter how old you are, because of that progression. Every year, everyone comes to camp and they don't really know like what trips or activities are going to be offered. And there is that, every year the trips are a little different and sometimes they're a little more challenging. So everyone is coming in with that sort of sense of like, ooh, this is exciting and new. And really the great thing about our communities is people are always really excited to meet new people and to feel that new energy and get that engagement. That was one thing we didn't do at the beginning of this chat that we should probably still do. I want to know where everyone is right now, not just your living room, but like your actual town and city and state. Because I think once you see like how many people are from so many different places in the country, it's really exciting to know that you're going to get to meet all of these different people from all over both the US and the world.
Awesome. Yes, we're trying to also answer some of these questions in the chat, to make sure you're scrolling through there too. This is a big one, and I'm sorry, Ari, but I'm going to make you keep talking. The question is, what are the COVID protocols?
It's our resident expert.
Yeah, it's a COVID czarina is the newest title.
Medical professional.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, we all know that COVID is kind of a funny creature. Last year when we ran camp completely successfully and completely COVID free. One of the things that really worked well for us and we felt like set us up for success and is something we will probably do again this summer, depending on CDC guidelines, is, we had everyone come with a negative PCR test that they received close to the beginning of camp within that 3-day window. Not unlike what is being required by a lot of international travel situations, conferences, and a variety of other places at this point. So beyond that, we don't know exactly what it will look like. Last year, we did quite a bit in cohorts for the first week plus. This year, we think that we're going to continue that because it really did build a really strong community, and to stay in those, our initial kind of cabin living unit cohorts, for the first few days of camp. But then our goal is to really move into that progressive, programmatic, and very much mixed interactive camp activities and experience. So that's the goal. There are quite a few unknowns right now. We're working closely with our medical director and talking about thresholds and a variety of other things. So we will be sharing that information as we move forward. The other thing we did do is we did some indoor masking initially when we first got to camp, because a lot of people are coming from places where, nobody loves masks. Although I will tell you, when you ski with them, they keep your face really warm. So who knows? We're not going to do a lot of skiing in the summer. That said, we will do a little bit of indoor masking, kind of at the beginning when we are interacting or crossing our cohort groups. So those are a couple of the kind of broad pieces, but we will get more specific as we get closer to this summer.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ari. I'll give you a break and I'll actually talk a little bit. One of the other questions is, in the month-long program, is there a mandatory 3 to 5 day overnight trip, or could it be shorter?
all those month-long campers will go on at least a 3-day trip, and it is completely appropriate to the skill level and ability of every camper in that age group. Our trips are made for people who are getting on a horse for the first time, putting on a backpack for the first time, sleeping in a tent for the first time. Everybody they're approachable. So while right now you might be like, oh wow, 2 nights in a tent, by the end of it, you'll be just so happy you got to sleep under the stars and have that experience. So yes. There's a question about, can campers bring their own mountain bikes to camp? I'm going to throw that to PJ, our current residential mountain biker man.
Thank you, Anne. And although I have been here now, this will be my 4th summer. That is the first time that I've been asked that. So I honestly have no idea. So I'm going to kick that one maybe over to Mark.
The preference is that we use our equipment here at camp. In regards to mountain bikes, we have plenty of bikes and a mechanic on property, and we'll teach the kids how to use our systems here. It's easier for that cross collaboration with our staff and campers when they get out on trips or programs, that the bikes work similarly, so that they can be fixed or repaired if needed in emergency situations, and just liability wise for us to know and understand that with the higher level program areas like mountain biking or climbing, we'll typically use our gear for those because they're readily checked by professionals.
Thanks, Mark. I will also say that all of our mountain bikes have only been used for like at most 2 to 3 summers. So it's not an old fleet. We are constantly getting new bikes and making sure that they have the best gear too. Which brings me to, there were some questions about rentals, like how do you rent gear? What does that look like? And so I'm going to throw that one over to Cato.
There we go. All right. So somebody may have to jump in and help me out on this in terms of the rentals pre-camp. But once we get here, we have a whole fleet of rentals for backpacks. There are some cowboy boots that I believe can be rented out as well, and sleeping bags are the main ones that get rented out. And we have all sorts of sizes and everything that your camper would need to come and be prepared for the summer. In terms of the rest of the equipment that goes out on trips with us, we are all set up with that. So we have tents, we have stoves, cook kits, and all sorts of other things that are ready to go out on trip.
Sweet, thanks, Cato. We have another question. It says, on all day or overnights that are not cabin site related, what can the age range be? I'm going to let Emily answer that one, actually.
Yeah, definitely. I can speak a little bit to High Trails, and maybe Jill can jump in a little bit about Big Spring, but at High Trails it was mentioned a little bit in the video, but the campers will kind of sign up for what they're really excited about at the beginning of the session. And we will assign them to kind of their top picks for all days and overnights and things. And some of those are really wide ranging, and they can be kind of all age groups, anyone who's really excited about doing that activity. And some of them are a little bit more specialized when it comes to the age range. So it might be, say you're in 6th grade, it might be kind of fellow 6th graders and a few 7th graders and things like that, depending on the activity and depending on the time that it's offered. But I think a wonderful thing about being at camp is to be able to interact with a lot of different people and age groups and really create relationships across the whole community. So you definitely have that opportunity when it comes to a lot of the all days as well. Jill, do you want to add anything about Big Spring?
I was just going to say, you hit it, on the head there. It's very similar program and set up at Big Spring as well.
Sweet. I had another question roll in, and it is, can you share a little more about the rock climbing opportunities that exist at camp on property and off? PJ, I'm going to throw it to you again, and I can help answer some of the off property things too.
That one I think I can answer. So we have plenty of different opportunities to do some climbing while here at camp. We are lucky to have 2 places that boast several different routes here on our property, actually. which is really awesome. And at Big Spring, those kids can start climbing as soon as they're in the month-long program. And then we also have what we like to call the Rock House, which is kind of our indoor bouldering area that can be used for half-day programming and different things like that. And so those climbing trips go from, a day long all the way up to when you are 15 years old. You would have the opportunity to also go on a 5-day rock climbing trip that gets you off of property a little bit more. And you have the opportunity to do some crack climbing at Turkey Rocks, as well as some other areas in Colorado. So climbing is a big program here, and we love it, and we try to get people stoked on it and teach them those skills anytime we have the opportunity to.
One of the other questions that often gets asked is about how do you get to camp if you're flying in or something like that. And so I'm going to turn that over to Jessie, because she is our travel diva and she organizes all of our travel. And it's a good thing to know if you might be getting on an airplane to come to camp.
Definitely. That is definitely my second favorite thing to do at camp, is to pick everybody up at the airport. So we send staff to both Colorado Springs Airport and Denver International Airport. Colorado Springs is about an hour drive from camp, and we'll use camp vans to get everybody up here once they land. And Denver's about a 2.5-hour drive, and we use charter buses to get everyone here. So really pick which airport, pick the flight that works for your family the best. The prices can vary at both. So sometimes Colorado Springs is the cheaper airport to come into. We do ask that families book flights that are between about 6:30 in the morning to 2. That just allows us to get everybody home before dinner and give them a chance to settle in a little bit first. And we take enough staff to both airports that we can send staff through security and pick every flight up at their gate, whether they're an unaccompanied minor or not. So make sure your camper knows to look for the neon orange t-shirt that says Sanborn Western Camps. That'll be one of our staff members. Then they will work together to go get some food. They'll go get their luggage, and then they'll come back to the hangout spot, and we will get them on that next shuttle to camp and make sure they have everything that they need. We, at that point, will also make sure that if they have a phone, they give you a call, let you know that they've arrived, or if they don't, we will make sure that you know that piece. And then once they get to camp, you will also get an email to say, yes, their bus arrived at camp safely and they're getting settled in. So if there's any specific questions or any concerns about flights, please don't be afraid to get in touch with me. And then when you get all of your forms and all that getting ready information that we're going to send out in the next month, and you'll have all the slew of camp forms to fill out, you'll get instructions on how to do that. Then there will be a travel form, and that's how you let us know what the plan is. So that's the gist of that.
Thanks, Jessie. We have a couple more questions rolling in. I'm going to let Izzy actually answer this one. Izzy, the question is, if your camper feels reluctant to come, what might you say to them to encourage them to go?
That is a good question. I think what I would have are the conversations ahead of time about the things and experiences they have done that allow them to know that they can do this. I think tying those moments to it. I also am not sure how well my internet is actually doing at the moment. So I'm okay. Okay. So yeah, I would talk about experiences they've had, things that they can do. What are they looking forward to? And one of the biggest things is to make the commitment together to it. When you come to camp, there's that piece of knowing that you can do this, that you believe in them, and that you are committed to the experience and the full experience for them. And once they're here, we have all sorts of tricks, and they're actually not tricks, they're just life skills of how to deal with being homesick, because being homesick is something that happens to 7-year-olds and it's something that happens to 25-year-olds. It just happens in life, and it's a good sign because it means you love your family a lot. And that you miss them. So it's something that we work through. We can't tell you all of our little tips and tricks because that happen when they're here, because we don't give them away until the moment. But there are some really good ways, and we train our staff and counselors on those things as well.
Awesome, thank you. Lots of questions coming in about numbers of campers and cabins and such that are getting answered in the chat. There is one that I am going to let Ariella answer, and that is, if you were driving in for drop off, are parents allowed to see the cabins before we leave? And how early can we come on opening day?
That's a great question. And last year we had it set up where we had some assigned times, and we actually did a drop off at our adult conference and retreat center, which is conveniently located in between both of the camps. And that allowed us to then transport the campers to our separate facilities, so we wouldn't have any cross-contamination and that sort of thing. Again, because of COVID, we are considering what that's going to look like, because it was nice to do our check-in at that time, and we opened up, I think it was like 5 or 10 minute slots throughout the morning. I think we started around 7 in the morning and went into the afternoon. People arrived by car. We also had the buses coming in, and we did our check-ins, and then dropped off luggage, said our goodbyes, and then went into our separate camp spaces. That may look the same this summer, and it might look different. We can definitely do some video walkthrough tours of our cabins, the lodges, tent spaces. If you're interested, we'd be happy to take you on a personal Facebook tour of those spaces. We also might get some up online, so everyone can kind of see what those living spaces look like if we don't have the opportunity to actually have parents in the cabins or tents this summer.
Awesome, thank you. I feel like that is, oh, here's another one. Ooh, the question is, how often during camp do you communicate with parents? Do you send photos? I'm gonna let Jessie answer the do you send photos question.
Here's the thing about Jessie. She goes to the airport and she takes photos. So of course, we actually hire their official position is to be the photographer for both camp, for one in each camp. So there's a Big Spring photographer and a High Trails photographer. And they're out taking a ton of photos. We also have staff that take a ton of photos when they're out on trips, and we definitely make sure to share those with you. Last year we started sharing actually about twice a week, which is, I think, was great, and we're going to keep it up. When you fill out your forms, you have the chance to sign up for Campanion, which is the app through our database. The cool thing about Campanion is that you can upload a photo with a clear face of your camper, and then it will use the facial recognition software. And we heard from parents that it was spot on last summer, that it could even find like the nose in the corner of the photo. So it makes it really easy to go find the photos of your kid. And then you also have the chance to look through the whole album and see what's going on. And then when you do see your camper again, they can tell you the stories behind all those photos as well. So we upload, it was about 200 in each album for each camp. So you should have the chance to see your kiddo quite a lot. We do communicate. And if you ever get a sad letter, or if you ever see something in a photo that you're not sure about, please get in touch with the directors at camp, and we will go out and check up on anybody that we need to. We'll make sure that we know that they are doing well and what they've been enjoying about camp so far, and then we will get back in touch with you. We definitely help to bridge that gap, because it's snail mail that you'll be getting from your campers, and that does take a couple days. You also, through the Campanion app, as parents, have the chance to send your kiddos an email, which we do print out 7 days a week. So you can communicate pretty quickly with your campers, and we love that it's through letters, so that you have the chance to save those memories and to really hear from your campers when they write you letters as well. We also do group letters once a week, and so you'll get uploaded into the forms section. Last year we did kind of a Mad Lib style, or they did a short biography that they were able to write about their different trips. So you'll expect to see those from us once a week as well. And your camper's actually writing to you what their experiences are. So that works really well.
Awesome. Thank you, Jesse. Yes, good communication. You also hear from the staff that are working with your campers too throughout the summer occasionally. I am going to go ahead and answer this question about kind of changing your mind and trips. In the junior program, the itineraries are kind of set. So what kids are going to do, that schedule is pretty set. The purpose of that program is to kind of be like getting a taste of camp. So you're getting to experience all the different things that camp has to offer and trying those things out. In the month-long program, it really is a lot about camper choice. We want you to make your summer, to have the opportunity to pick what you want to do and what you're excited about. And we recognize that sometimes what you're excited about changes. And we recognize that maybe you learned that you didn't like something as much as you thought you were going to, and that's totally okay. That is also a part of camp. And so we'll work with campers to change those trips if they need to throughout the summer. At High Trails, we have what we call switch coupons, so people can do that. And at Big Spring, kids know they can talk to their staff, their program directors, and people will work to make sure that you're getting the summer experience that you really want. Is there more?
I would like to know what Audrey Terman's favorite camp meal is. What was the favorite thing you had last summer, food wise?
I would say meatballs as well, as somebody said in the video. They were really good.
Awesome. Yeah, food at camp, we usually get pretty high marks all across the board. As a longtime lacto-ovo pescatarian, but mostly vegetarian, I really, really love our food. Our cooks do an amazing job with dietary restrictions and as well as just awesome home cooked meals. You know, we make a lot of things from scratch. Actually, we make pretty much everything from scratch, and baked goods. You know, oftentimes you walk into the lodge, especially up at High Trails, and it just smells like biscuits or cinnamon rolls. It's kind of a magical place, and we are super fortunate to have an amazing support staff who take care of us, not only in kitchen, but also we have phenomenally strong and amazing laundresses who every other day come and pick up your laundry, and they wash it, and then they fold it, and then they bring it back, which is one of those things as moms is like magical. So we love all the folks who help make this program work that aren't even on this call. So it's a super phenomenal summer, great experience, but it only happens when you all are able to join us and be part of it. So adults come to Camp Sid Wendy. Yes. We have an employment page, and I definitely just throw that out there. That would be fabulous. So yeah, college age students or, you know, slightly older, we can do these things. So looking forward to seeing all of you. If you have additional questions, please feel free. We're going to throw our emails in the chat. We are also going to post this recording up on the blog if you want to come back to it. There's the link to the video you watched is already up on the blog, so feel free to watch it again if you have any additional questions, but also please email us or call us at the main office if this, you know, after you're, you know, having your bedtime conversations, a little late night snack, things come up. Don't hesitate to reach out to any and all of us. It's been so fun to see all of you on the screen, and yeah, thank you for spending an hour with us tonight, and woohoo, see you in Florissant. Bye, everybody.